Get ready to strap in. It's going to be a heck of a ride. It's like drinking from a fire hose. Never a dull moment, but yes, you'll hear the stories you won't hear anywhere else, and we appreciate you being here with us for them today. I'm Justin Barclay. Yes, sir. Welcome in. It is another big day at Tech Talk Tuesday, and our good friend Trent Kennedy joins us. The latest on AI and AI fights actually right here in our own backyard are heating up. These data centers, I've never seen anything like it. And the latest in one local battle, and of course cross country, what are happening there with those stories that you just won't get anywhere else. So strap in. We got them for you right here. Welcome in. The latest on that story that broke is we were getting off the air yesterday, which is just another horrific scenario of terrorism, I believe, media-fueled terrorism. Setting fire, 43-year-old setting fire to a federal immigration court in the offices there outside in New York City. We've got new details on who that is, videos that you won't want to miss as well. And Biden busted, doing us dirty. Not only did he empty out those oil reserves, but it's worse. It's even worse. All of that and more coming up this morning. Welcome in. We love the fact that you're joining us today to be a part of the program. And of course, you want to support the folks that help support this program and make it happen. Healthwithjustin.com. Our good friend Maha Mizzi and the team, healthwithjustin.com. I'm down over 40 pounds now, and I gotta get a full total. Maybe tomorrow when we bust our latest episode wide open with Maha Mizzi, we'll give you the scoop on that. Our good friends at mypillow.com, mystore.com/Justin, Mike Lindell and the team. Mike, incredible news. Obviously, the endorsement for President Trump pushing him up in the polls in Minnesota in the governor's race. He's been fighting all this election integrity stuff that's starting to come out now is pretty incredible. Kind of like completely exonerates him in so many different ways. So many of the other folks that were fighting too. We appreciate Mike and all his efforts as well. All right, folks, here we go. Time to join the big three in progress. Powered by our good friends at Heartland Home Mortgage, Dave Galloway and the team, making it possible today and every day. Those stories that matter most. You'll be talking about these around the water cooler field. No matter where you are, our big three. As I mentioned earlier, these big stories they're just barely scratching the surface. I want to dive into that 43-year-old on the way, the oil reserves. But first, a story that's a little closer to home. It's having yet again national impact like it did in 2024. If you listen to this program, and particularly the radio program while we were doing it, you not only do you know about this story, but you actually may have helped break it. Listeners to this story, and I won't give the full scoop or details, but we got a tip from somebody who listened to this program about this particular story. An illegal immigrant, Grand Rapids man, reported by the media at the time. He'd gotten out of the country. Well, he sent out, I think, the first time, and then brought back in under Biden. Sent out under Trump, brought back in under Biden, if I remember correctly. This guy shot and killed his girlfriend in a car driving down the highway, kicked her body out of the car. Just a perfect gentleman. Grand Rapids man again. He's been convicted of that heinous crime. Remember Justice for Ruby Garcia. The only reason we knew about this man, who he was, is because we got a tip from somebody who listened to the program, said, connected with the investigation. By the way, the guy should never have been here. And we shared that with the folks at the Midwesterner who got in. They did the deep research into the story. We were able to get that story to President Trump. He made a stop in Grand Rapids, specifically naming this individual, talking about what he'd done. And folks, this is a big one. Brendan Ortiz Vite is his name, now suing Trump for what he calls, quote, severe public distress after his mugshot was used in the 2024 campaign. Hey, it's a small price to pay. It's a small price to pay. And for what he did, you're telling me the president can't talk about it? You're telling me he can't make a point? When you do the crime, you can't do the time? Brandon Ortiz Vite, illegally entering the country, previously being deported, shot his girlfriend in the head, dumped her body on the highway, as I mentioned. And now he's involved in a lawsuit. Can't make this stuff up. And yet, here we are. Another story. Sad but true. It looks like we've got some issues with our oil reserves. Now, not only are they saying they might be a little empty, they're just not up to par. And it's because Biden drained them. U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve now holds about 317 million barrels of oil. It's the lowest level since 1983. And they're sounding the alarm. They're ringing the alarm, not only because of the level that they've been dropped down to, the President Trump trying to fill them back up, but there's more. Biden and his administration ran them so low, they actually did damage. Wow. This is incredible. That sounds like what they did in Afghanistan. These people hated you. No surprise. We have an audio issue early. That's fine. We'll refresh it, folks. The point is, they're saying that they apparently Biden administration, not only did they suck it dry, but they also left equipment on site, and at the same time, they left this whole operation inoperable. In fact, There's no other way to word that, I think, other than treason, folks. There's really no other way. We'll roll back that audio here in just a little bit. Hang on for that. Third and last but not least, a 43-year-old now in custody. His name is Andrew Arabaka. He's a former U.S. Army soldier. He set fire with gasoline and fireworks outside New York City's 26 Federal Plaza. This is a story that broke late while we were wrapping things up yesterday. And I don't know about you, but I think it's time that these folks are fully held accountable. I think we have to throw the book at this guy. I think might be time to throw death penalty at some of these individuals. They're trying to murder and commit terrorist acts upon the United States government.
Today, just before 9 a.m., a man by the name of Andrew Arabaka, A-R-R-A-B-A-C-A, arrived at 26 Federal Plaza, just behind us on Worth Street, at the employee entrance to the building, where he ignited gasoline. He poured gasoline onto the ground and ignited it with a lighter and an incendiary device. That device was a firework, a large firework in a canister. That proceeded to catch on fire, pretty big flame as you've seen on the internet. He then pulled out an airsoft rifle and fired 5 to 7 pellets, if you will, in the direction of 26 Federal Plaza. At that time, Federal Protective Services, 2 officers, a gray suit, a contractor with Allied that is employed to guard this building, and those 3 people and the 2 officers standing behind me in the blue shirts are the officers that intervened and took Mr. Arabaka into custody.
We saw this yesterday. I played the video for you that's on the right. I'll make it larger for you. But this, to me, is media-fueled again. This is another great example of media-fueled shenanigans. The media pushes the narrative. The media is responsible for these wackos. The media are the ones that push these people to the edge and then, unfortunately, as you see, completely over the edge. Why? They want chaos. It's not a bug. It's a function. That's what these people want. They want you. They want everyone else living in fear. Look at this guy. Look at what he does. Let's watch this video as he runs up. He's got gas in that bucket. It's like one of those Home Depot kind of orange buckets. Throws it out. He's lucky he didn't light himself on fire. Look at that. He did.
Oh my God.
He did kind of catch some.
Oh my God!
This is the best view we have of it. It's from on high. I'm actually. It's a little suspicious we have such great video. I don't know what.
Oh my God!
Why this person was filming, and it must have been something that.
Get away from there! Oh my God! Get away from there! No! Get away from there!
The person who's watching it yelling for the police and folks to get away. However, that's what these people do. They rush towards the danger. They always do. This is what they do every single time there's a problem. Every single time there's some attack or something. That's what they do. That's what it's just their duty. It's who they are.
Oh my God! Get away!
And you have the fight.
Oh my God!
With the individual. We saw this. They tussle with him on the ground. And then you've got these bike racks that eventually, they don't even show that part, but they surround him, cordon him off. And here he is, a deranged leftist. We assume what we know now is that he was there to attack ICE. There you have. That's some of the worst of the video, but you watching this over and over again, and these are incidents, these things that are happening. you've seen the ICE agents targeted. You've seen what they have to face on a daily basis. They use with these people that are fighting against them. They use their cars as weapons. And then when something happens, they blame this, like they victim shame and blame. They say, what was this? It was their fault. That they're the ones responsible for it all. Are we on Facebook today? It looked like we had an issue, but I just refreshed to see if it will go live. I don't know what happened on the Facebook, but we'll just make sure that that's up and running. Tom Homan, who is head of ICE right now, talking about what these people go through, the men and women on the ground. And it is absolutely sickening what they have to go through. He you could tell, gets kind of emotional this whole time.
Guys, ICE agents are mom and dads too.
I don't blame
them. They don't hang their heart on a hook every day to do this job. And it's just not attack on the ICE agents, attack on their spouses and children, and no one knows that better than me. I can't even go get a quart of milk at a grocery store without security detail. Why? Because I'm enforcing laws in this country. It's pathetic and it's disgusting. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Mr.
Homan. He's right. Can't even go get a quarter mil. Now he knows he signed up for this. He's not saying he's not saying that he won't do the job. He's not saying that he refuses to do it. He's just saying this is ridiculous that these brave men and women are here trying to do this work. They're trying to fight. And yet again, the story is, and unfortunately, they are under attack. And this is the same thing with law enforcement all across the board, by the way, because they want you to think it's just ICE. It's not. This is what the playbook shows you for the left. This is what the communist Marxist manifesto reveals. They want this sort of fighting in the streets. They want to get rid of this law enforcement so they can bring in their own. That's the goal. They said they don't want law enforcement. They do. They just want their own. They want their own boots out marching, doing the dirty work. Look, the same people that are saying, ICE is overstepping their bounds. These are the same ones that said, just shut up and comply with those orders. Don't leave your house, wear the mask, take the jab, all of that during it's the same thing. And these people, maybe the memory is a little short, but remember they had their own Gestapo during that time. Homan knows. He's seen it. And the guy, this is the most no nonsense. I bet Homan maybe one of the best polling out there from the administration. He just don't know. I think Homan could be president. I do. I think he's got it. I think he got what it takes in some ways. He's just a strong leader. I don't know if he has the experience over everything to be able to do all those things. But I got to tell you, I'm just constantly impressed by him. Because again, he's a guy who sees it, calls it like it is, just like you and me, truth, logic, and common sense. And why is it important for you to see that? Because the media and the left, these radical wackos that are out there, but I repeat myself again, they're the ones who want to convince you that you're crazy. They're gaslighting you, make you think that you're the problem. Okay. All right, sure. Truth, logic, and common sense prevails, and it's a lot more popular, in fact, than they would have you believe. A lot more popular than they would have you believe. By the way, what are the stats right now? New ICE data dump reveals the agency has carried out 356,389 deportations so far in this fiscal year, 2026, which began October 1st. The average is out to roughly 1,260 per day. Still not enough. I mean, I'll pat them on the back for that work, but still not enough. ICE currently has 65,765 people in ICE detention. 39,576 of whom 60% have criminal convictions or pending criminal charges. The data also confirms what Morningstar Tom Homan's recent statements said that June saw a record-setting number of arrests at 43,138, higher than January and February when the surge in Minnesota was in effect. July on pace to potentially break that June record. And the data doesn't lie, folks. The data doesn't lie. So I pat him on the back for doing it, but it is not enough. And it just shows you this has to ramp up. Trump is in a sticky spot because they are very similar to the Iran war. You see from the very inside of this country, the Marxists take over, even inside the Democrat Party. I almost called it Communist Party, but it's communists take over the Democrat Party. You see over and over and over again the issues that continually raise their ugly heads. All right, folks, I want to get into Tech Tuesday. We got lots of AI talk, very important matters to get to. We'll do that coming up here in just a moment. Speaking of tech, Facebook is now cooperating. Don't know what the issue was earlier, but we've been able to refresh it, get that up and running for you as well. We'll check in with our good friend Trent Knibbie. So if you're a booker and you like to go prefer Facebook, I love that we have the options. I mean, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on X, we're on Getter, we're on Rumble, we're on YouTube, and we may even add more. Somebody asked me the other day, why aren't you on Twitch? Well, we were at one point, but I just didn't see the numbers there that I thought justified continuing. But it might just be another button that we a switch that we flip to allow the streaming there too. If you have a platform that you prefer, you like, let me know, and we'll see if we can make changes for you. So we just want to be everywhere so that people have the ability to get this. And again, we have backups to the backups to the backups. That's just a redundancy that we've learned. We had to build the boats. They take one away and we'll be right back up somewhere else. And we're used to that now. And by the way, folks, maybe tuning in thinking, what happened? Why aren't you on the radio anymore? Well, we've covered it. You can find out if you go to justinbarclay.com. Right there on the front page, there's a video that explains a little bit about what went down and what is coming soon. So stand by for that in our Tech Talk segment after the latest from the Midwesterner, the Midwesterner.
Here are your headlines from the Midwesterner this Tuesday, July 21st. I'm Robin Poffman. It's a Midwesterner.news original story.
I think part of what we need to do is revamp how we're generating revenue in this state.
You're listening to Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson, who tells WDIV-TV she wants to overhaul the Michigan tax code to make it equitable. Listen.
That is more equitable, but also transformational. Too much of our tax code is piecemeal and written through loopholes and credits instead of a more strategic vision of how are we bringing in revenue and then how do we ensure that revenue is going towards where we want it.
And the U.S. military striking targets in Iran for a 10th night in a row in retaliation for Iran attacking a base in Jordan and killing 3 U.S. soldiers, including a 19-year-old woman from Carrollton, Texas, and a 25-year-old man from Hawaii.
We feel very badly, but those great people, those great patriots are out there fighting that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
For these stories and more, visit the Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
Now, a good time to probably remind you as well, if you haven't done so yet, make sure you click share today. You can help us get the word out. Truth, logic, and common sense. And when you do, we're going to put you in the running, by the way. So by the end of the show, and we'll pick a name, could be from Facebook, could be from X, could be from Rumble, could be for any one of the platforms, but you'll win something from inside the store, justinbarclay.com/store. The Justin store is full up and running. And with AI Justin there, who looks about maybe 10 years younger. And the good, I don't know, maybe even, 20 pounds lighter. Looking good. He's looking good. My oldest daughter saw this picture yesterday, I think it was, and she goes, "You look different." I said, I know I do. It's kind of the running joke. We made this artwork, and the AI was making me look real goofy and weird, like buck teeth and everything else. And finally it came out with supermodel, Justin. So we decided to go ahead and keep the supermodel version. So, so there you go. Hey, no promises that these shirts will make you look like a supermodel when you wear them. But yeah, if you want to support the program, please do. You could go ahead and grab some gear from inside the store, but we'd love to just give it to you as well. For clicking share, that's a great way to support. Every time you leave a comment, every time you react, even when the trolls do, they don't realize this, but it helps push us into the algorithm and let the platforms know that you're enjoying what you're watching. That being said, our good friend Trent Knibbie, Affordable Eye Store, Lake Michigan Drive in Standale, and Grand River Tech here with us today for a tech talk segment that is sure not to disappoint. You're going to love it. In fact, if you have questions, as people often do, about your personal devices, he can help you with Apple and PC, Android, and Apple both. So you can ask those questions. Pick up the phone, affordableeyestore.com, or walk in person and ask them. But if you've got a business, a church, an organization, and you're not protected yet, or even if you are, maybe you want to make a switch because you want to make sure that you're dealing with the folks who are in the know, who can protect you, right? And keep you connected and protected at the same time, and do it at a reasonable cost. That's the thing. Every business, you're fighting for your life out there every single day. No need for you to spend an arm and a leg on some of this stuff. Make sure you're working with the folks who want to make sure that you're well taken care of, and consider it their patriotic duty. That's our good friend Trent Knibbie, by the way. Trent, welcome in. We appreciate you being here with us today.
Good morning, Justin.
Another fantastic day, and these stories are piling up as we speak. Lots of AI, by the way, when we're looking at these stories today. Like every day, it seems like AI is always on top of the list, but we got some things that I think are also going to be even more so important in your day-to-day life. In fact, iPads and kids, if you got a kid who's on an iPad or they use them at schools, there's a story you're going to want to hear coming up in just a little bit. Your garbage truck may be the next big thing to look out for that's spying on you. And speaking of spying, I want to start with this because, you know, Trent, we've been top of these stories for a while now, but the flock cameras are like everywhere. And these are the cameras that are essentially supposed to be license plate reading cameras. That's what they were sold to. And Jerry's actually already asking the question about flock right now. Can you ask Trent? So we're going to talk about that, and people are cutting them down, et cetera. But there's a victory for some of the concerned citizens in the fight against flock. The latest story here: Flock ends rollout of audio distress detection of human voice. Now, you probably didn't know this, but along with the cameras, there's other things that they have the ability to do once they're up, and they've got this infrastructure built, and audio collection, not just detection, but collection, I'm assuming, part of this as well. Trent, roll this out for us. What was going on here?
Yeah, so this was sold, many years ago as a very basic, very limited audio detection specifically of gunshots. So police would put these, cities would put these, whoever's putting these things up would put them in different parts of the city. And if they heard a gunshot sound register on the sensor, it would report into the police. The police would go investigate the area for a shooting. And so that's what it was originally sold at. And then later years, they added in, or it morphed, or whatever, I don't know all the history on that, into listening for signs of distress. So if someone is screaming or yelling, then it would report that in as well. And Justin, we all know, like, a gunshot is a loud noise, sure, but there's fireworks. There's a car that backfires. There's, all sorts of things. Someone can slam the lid on their garbage can next to this camera, and obviously that can resonate and sound like a gunshot. So there was a lot of false alarms. And then when it got to the audio part of getting people's voices in quote unquote distress, a computer can't tell if it's kids screaming, having fun, or if it's, someone yelling at their dog or whatever. And so there was a lot of false alarms. And obviously, Justin, it's a blatant privacy issue, right? You have audio cameras all over your neighborhood. People, number one, aren't even aware of these things are doing this. Number two, there's false alarms that are causing situations. There was a real life shooting. A police involved thought there was a shooting. It was kids letting off fireworks in a neighborhood. I mean, there's the whole privacy issue of, okay, what else are they listening to? Who else are they reporting this to? Is this constitutional? I mean, are they authorized to literally listen in on everything on the streets and then report that into whatever government or international? Who knows where this data is going? So they're stopping this feature as a company. I think it's voluntarily on their part because I think they see the writing on the wall between either court cases, lawsuits, and or a police shooting or some other situation as a false response to a false alert.
Yeah, not only that, but like some of the I guess the pushback on this coming from these citizens and at these meetings, and I understand that these tools, and by the way, I'm not completely against all of this because I think they do serve a purpose. They can help find criminals. They certainly have been responsible for helping put people in jail who deserve to be put the bad guys away. But there's a fine line here. And it's just like any other tool or technology. It's only as good as the hands that hold it. It's the people and the hearts really that decide where they're going to go with it. And look, if and we've heard about police officers doing things like stalking exes through their flock cameras and all kinds of other abuses. I think last week we played a video where a woman was falsely accused, I think that was last week, of stealing a package off of a porch. And it was only because they saw her vehicle in the area at the time and thought she matched the description, even when she then had to bring her own evidence and cameras and backup to show, look, it wasn't me. I'm doing something else. And they refused to look at it. So again, it's not exactly the technology, but it's like everything else, Trent. Really, it's how the technology is used. You see this on a daily basis. You're like one of the guys with the white hats trying to protect people from all these hacks and ransomware attacks and things like that in their own businesses. And these types of things, boy, they can ruin. They could take a mom and pop out. And matter of fact, a big business in a heartbeat, because they have the ability to bring your business to a halt, to a grinding stop. And then if you have to pay out the ransomware, I mean, people they just don't realize what we're up against. But again, you're wearing the white hat while these other hackers and folks are wearing the black. And it's the same technology and tools.
That's right, Justin. It really brings the burden of the fix, right? Whether it's the flock camera system saying, hey, there was a gunshot when this guy drove by and stopped here at this intersection. Now you have to prove that you didn't shoot a gun, that you didn't have a gun in the car or anything. That whole legal side of thing is some parallels and some similar to the cyber side, where, like you're saying, if you do get a hack, if you do have a problem with ransomware, there has been cases where the government has showed up at the door of a home or business saying, hey, there's all this malicious activity here. We think you're the one doing this. You have to prove that you aren't. And it's because you have an old unsecured computer on your network that has been sharing viruses that you had no idea about.
All right. So we'll go from that terrifying story. But like I said, a little bit of good news that I think the pushback from folks, right? Because you ought to have a say in all of this. It's the same thing with the data centers. You know, I say, look, if people want them in their backyard, then let them have them. But at the same time, you got to be transparent. You got to be open about this process. There needs to be accountability, and people need to have a say in the whole thing. Well, very similarly, we need to be educated on these topics. Here you have another one. This sounds like Skynet. Sounds like a movie, folks. Armed robots on the horizon as Silicon Valley pitches new military tech. I don't know if they're going to be on the street near you and me anytime soon. Maybe in the battlefield. Some of them might already be there. But Trent, it's a story that's inevitable. And again, it sounds like something right out of Hollywood.
Yeah, Justin, if people are taking out, flock cameras illegally, I hate to know what happens when these things are marching around the streets.
Yeah.
So I'll let your imagination go on that one. But anyways, follow the money, Justin. Silicon Valley has a major problem with tech right now. So Silicon Valley is hemorrhaging money. The startups, the new tech, the leading tech, they're really struggling because the big tech and big AI is mainly held by a handful of companies, many of them outside. Think of Musk and Grok outside of Silicon Valley. So they're looking for follow the money. And unfortunately, the world's on fire with wars all over the world. And even if a country isn't in war, they're deathly afraid of war in their little country. And so they have limited means to protect themselves. And so they're looking to high tech solutions such as, robots, autonomous machines that can protect against drones, that can protect their airspace, that can protect their country. And they're looking to this, and Silicon Valley is looking at this as a way to pivot and to make money with technology on a front that to date hasn't been fully implemented. There's no Amazon yet of defense or offensive robots yet. So I don't like it, Justin. I wish they would put their time into helpful solutions instead of war type weapons. I think it's a sad state of where we're at.
Yeah, we are. I'll just kind of play the devil's advocate here a bit. We are on the front lines in this fight, and it's the same argument that they'll use. And I think I've seen some interesting information on recently about China too. China, they're gonna make this stuff. They're gonna do all the things that you and I are very concerned about. And we at least need to know if we're going to make it or not, how it works. And of course, we need to be on the front line cutting edge with it so that we can fight back. But speaking of which, may not even be something that's considered a weapon. It might just be the actual technology in itself. There's a lawsuit now in Alabama. The way social media has had such an impact on us and our kids, Trent, I think we are on the next sort of frontier. People don't understand AI. They don't understand the just the limited abilities that we have now with the messaging, the chat. They don't understand that essentially it's set up just sort of like the way I understand it, the way social media is to give you more of what you want. And so for someone that's already having some issues, struggling with reality, right? Like the guy who went and set up I'm not saying he was pushed by AI, but certainly probably pushed by media and social media to set that fire in New York City yesterday at the federal building. What will AI push people to do? In this lawsuit, it claims an Alabama woman walked into traffic. She killed herself because chat told her she was fulfilling a prophecy. This is absolutely terrifying to me because not only do you have people who are susceptible, they're sensitive, right? They don't necessarily know. They're not as skeptical as they should be with this technology. They take it as the gospel in some ways, like this must be true. And then that's before you get the kids involved into this, when you're going to have kids that are again going to trust and chat and talk to it above even their parents. But people are using this technology as therapy and telling it its deepest, darkest secrets. Now, on the one hand, a very real sort of, you can understand they've had data breaches and they've had that information that's been leaked out, hacks and things like that. When it comes to this information, people are feeding it. But on the other hand, something that's it's even more gruesome is the fact that people are listening to this thing and it is telling them what to do. And it is, absolutely terrifying.
So, Justin, I think the issue here is that AI, in this case, obviously, this wonderful lady had some struggles with spiritual things, with personal things, and instead of going to a traditional family member or a counselor as their main source of hope, their minister, an elder from their church, whatever, the normal, traditional, human-based help, they went to ChatGPT. Why? Because it's convenient, because they're using it already, because it's there, it's being pushed on them with advertisements, social media, whatever, it's accessible, it's there. And they got into a trap of starting to listen to it and not discerning the difference between, hey, this is a computer model, it's a large language model that's designed to interact with you and make you think it is human, and it is not. And Justin, it is deceptive and it is misleading, and it is so powerful in the amount of information that it can come up with off the cuff, that for somebody who is not in a perfect state of mind, and even somebody who is in a perfect state of mind, Justin, you can talk to it for a while and you can really shake your head and say, how does it know this? How can it come up with the answers this quick? How can it be so confident in it? And it is literally just a machine. And so the sad part is obviously this person lost their life. And what I hope to see from this, Justin, is some kind of legal action, guardrails, something that happens that's really changes the industry, so that this life isn't just one of millions or hundreds or thousands that are lost. I hope this is not swept under the rug. I hope this is a learning lesson for everybody involved, and the company. I hope that they have some actual recourse that forces them to stop. Hopefully they still have a conscience.
Let me give you a little bit more about who this young woman was, because it is such a tragic story. Her name was Madison, I believe, Madison Faith. What's her last name? It wasn't Faith, wasn't I? think it's Faith Madison. Sorry, excuse me, I got it wrong. Faith Madison died June 9th, 2025, after stepping into traffic on Interstate 22 in Jefferson County, Alabama. Her death was initially reported as a pedestrian fatality. Now her death is at the center of the lawsuit, now accusing the AI company of encouraging the harmful beliefs here. And of course, again, this is another one of those stories. As tragic as it is, how do you wrap your head around? You fully understand what the technology is capable. Apparently, as you mentioned, she had some mental health or spiritual struggles dealing with, fighting at the time. The chat, there are messages, I guess, in the lawsuit that say the chat called her a seer. It called her a prophet, and it told her that she must take action. Next thing that she would have to do in order to fulfill her potential, her purpose, the prophecy, would be to shed blood. That's and her own, according to the report. This is the TV report out of I think it's Birmingham, where this.
A Trafford woman is taking legal action against ChatGPT, claiming an AI chatbot contributed to the woman's death.
Christian Faith Madison died more than a year ago. And in June of 2025, the Jefferson County coroner named Madison as the victim of a deadly incident on Interstate 22.
Authorities said she was hit and killed by a car on the interstate near Colberg. The coroner's office ruled her death a suicide. Now, Madison's family is suing OpenAI. And last month, her family filed a wrongful death lawsuit blaming ChatGPT for her death.
The lawsuit claims the chatbot reinforced delusional beliefs and failed to provide safeguards, despite signs that Madison was having a mental health crisis. WBTM 13's Lisa Crane is following this story for us.
Lisa, some of the conversations Madison was having with ChatGPT are disturbing.
Yeah, you know, if you're like me, you might use ChatGPT to edit some photos, maybe come up with some landscaping or decorating ideas. But Christian Madison seemed to be treating it like a friend. She actually told it her deepest secrets, her fears, her desires. And according to her lawsuit, or this lawsuit, what it gave back to her prompted her to take her own life. Christian Madison was a 29-year-old Blount County mother, an accountant, and a strong Christian. According to a lawsuit filed on behalf of her son, she started interacting with ChatGPT in December of 2024. And within 6 months, she stepped in front of a car on Interstate 22 in Jefferson County and was killed. The lawsuit claims in conversations with ChatGPT, the AI chatbot called her a prophet and a seer. She spoke to it about her faith and her desire to help others. It responded by saying she should be willing to bleed for it.
OpenAI ChatGPT is built to be sycophantic, which means agreeable and affirming. So if someone's having thoughts that are distorted and unhelpful, then ChatGPT is going to affirm what they're saying, agree, treat them like they're a friend, and not push back against any of those thoughts.
Catherine Ely is a licensed professional counselor. She says AI can be very helpful, but it can also be very harmful when the user is already dealing with mental health issues. Now, long before Madison died, the lawsuit alleges ChatGPT drafted what it called a prophecy, saying to Madison, "You are not done. You must die first," indicating that was the way to fulfill her life's mission.
This is so horrific because how many people, and I don't know how to teach this other than to warn, and again, this is just another example. And I think let it be a warning to all of us that what we replace God with, right, or we replace our real relationships with, is ultimately going to kill us. And in other ways, more ways than one, but it will take your life, and those things are not real. And if we don't warn against that, and I think in a day and age where people don't understand how bad this can be, I'm not saying you can't use this technology. What I am saying is that when you go into it, you need to fully understand what you're interacting with, and if you don't have the ability to make those distinctions, put it down. You just need to walk away, it sounds like, Trent. I can't. I mean, this is just such a horrifying story. It's so sad.
Yeah, Justin, it's a tool, Justin. There's the many tools in life that you can't handle, can't manage without training responsibly. And that's one of the issues with tech is it's often distributed and handed out to parents, kids, adults, as if it's just a harmless tool without any acknowledging of the limitations, the dangers, the slippery slope. Technology has been that way for the last, ever since big tech was a thing. It feels like they do not want to tell us, they do not want to warn us of any of the dangers of those tools. So yes, your very wise words, Justin, of advice. If it's something that you can't handle, you need to sit down. I think the issue is, Justin, we got to help each other understanding what we can't handle. Because if we ourselves don't see it, we're gonna have to rely on others to help us with that. Hence the need for our relationships, our family, our church, our community, to keep us all working together in the right path.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, the ones who are going to be most at risk on this are going to be the children. I mean, look at what they've done in schools, and this has been the plan, by the way, the whole time, to seed dangerous, deceptive, demonic lies into the lives of children, to tell them that the parents just don't understand. They'll never get this. The parents are wrong. That's happening in a lot of the public school system now and has been for decades. So you imagine how this interaction may go with one of these chatbots or whatever. When the parent or someone tries to intervene with a kid, or even somebody who, I don't see it. No, chat's right. It knows everything. You can't possibly know. Mom, Dad, you can't possibly know. You can't be smarter than AI. See, AI is capable of giving you information back, right? It's garbage in, garbage out is the old adage. It's capable of giving you information back, but is it capable of fully understanding wisdom? It can give you information that may sound wise back, but can it really give you the actual wisdom? And that's the thing that I think is going to separate us all in this fight, Trent.
And that's right, Justin. The key, what you're saying there that people need to continuously keep in mind is that AI is simply mimicking human behavior. And the better that it mimics the human behavior, the better it scores in the model. And if the information isn't correct, that doesn't necessarily dock it in the model scoring, because they know that it's going to get more correct in time. So they're not concerned about inaccuracies. They're concerned about what is the level of its ability to make us confident to listen, to interact, to trust it. That's all that they're focusing on, because they know that it'll get better in time. That's the scary part.
And a good reminder, Keith says AI will lie to you too. Yeah, it hallucinates. It will lie straight up. We've seen that over and over again. You would think we're completely anti-tech here. That's not the case at all. We're just for people to understand responsibly how to use it, the risks, and of course, the upside too. On the surface, maybe they thought, years ago when they put this idea out there that, every kid should have the technology and have iPads and all this other stuff in schools. We saw that with Chromebooks and some of the other things that kids were using. But now it turns out Baltimore's top educator wants to end what she's calling the iPad kid epidemic. And I don't know. It's kind of interesting to me because I remember hearing that story, Trent, that Steve Jobs wouldn't let his own kids play with these devices. And it tells you everything that I think you need to know when you're looking at this. But what is the problem? What's she seeing? And what's their solution?
So, Justin, it's an old problem, right? Technology gets kids focused on a screen. They don't interact with each other. They don't learn as well as in a personal classroom setting or the traditional classroom setting where you have paper, pencil, a teacher teaching the class, not a video format on the screen. And so obviously that is something that parents are seeing, teachers are seeing, and there's a mass movement actually in our country among all different genres of schools, private and public schools, that are pushing back and saying, hey, we want less technology. Not only are they seeing lower test results, test scores, things like that in the school setting, but they're also seeing the consequences at home. Now they have to have an iPad at home. Now they have to have a computer at home for a very young child that they have to manage, and they have to help them with homework and sign-ins and internet filters. And it's just, Justin, the whole circle is a full hassle. And to speak some good about technology, this isn't being hidden. If this was 50 years ago, it could be suppressed a little bit. But because of social media, because of
did we lose
going viral, parents stopped.
Yeah.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you froze up just a little bit, but your point was well made and received. So I will tell you that's while we're kind of showing some of the flip sides of all this, there is some good news, particularly in that story, that teachers, educators are starting to see some of this and understand that they need to, they need to take maybe a step back and do a little bit of a course correction in some of this. So that's, to me, I look at that as a positive, that maybe they're learning from some of this. Okay, speaking of learning from some of this, you and I think maybe neither one of us need to be at this point. I don't think we have to be sold on putting all of this tech and the spying whatnot into your garbage. Your garbage truck is I guess, high tech. Somebody said, I think it was Jason, we need smart garbage trucks for dumb garbage. But here it is, the latest out of I think it's out of New York. Garbage trucks may soon start spying on people. Where this is already happening. Let's try and break this down. What does this mean? Our garbage truck is going to be spying on you? How does this work? Does it start knowing exactly what's in my garbage? I mean, is it going to be reporting that back to somebody somewhere? And what do I need to be concerned about here?
Justin, the real quick of this story is that city who's trying to push this through is going to be the quickest new city leadership in history, and they're all going to be out of a job. But the city is seriously saying, hey, let's take these garbage trucks that drive slowly around the city, the big metal structures. They got, motors, electronics, lots of electricity generated on a garbage truck to run different accessories that can easily power the equipment. So they have a good platform that's moving around the city slowly on a regular basis that they can use as a mobile surveillance van, the creepiest, largest, smelliest, non-discreet mobile surveillance piece of equipment to literally spy on the city to say, hey, is your lawn not mowed? Is your siding on your house unkept? Do you have an illegal structure? Did you put a shed on your property that you didn't get a permit for? That's literally what they're very openly saying, hey, this is what we want to do with it. And again, Justin, the pushback from the community, I guarantee you if they actually push this through, and even if they don't, I think these people are out looking for a job next term, and I'm not sure who wants to hire them at that point.
Yeah, look out. Again, your garbage, the next piece that they're looking to, and it's funny because they already know everything you bought, right? You would assume like that's part of this whole, everything's tracked and everything else. And now they want to know what you did with it, I guess, is apparently the next big piece. Anything that's on your radar, tech related, hacker, ransomware, in the fight to keep folks connected and protected. whether in your business or others, Trent?
Yeah, Justin, there's constant new hacks coming out, but SharePoint, there's a recent SharePoint hack that's pretty brutal, affecting a lot of people with SharePoint. It's a zero-day vulnerability. If you're using SharePoint on a business server in any work setting, obviously something to talk to your IT guys about. And obviously, if you don't have an IT guy or don't know how to check for that, let us know and we can help you get protected. Just one of the many hacks that are coming out, but that's a big one that just hit the news here recently.
By the way, I know when you think about this, especially when you're a small business owner, you think like, where do I even get started? Can I afford like having an IT person? Well, that's the Grand River Tech and the mission that Trent really is put forward. That's the heart of what he does. He is a small business owner who does this and has since he was a kid in high school. We go all the way back to how you got started in your bedroom, man. It's a wild story. But now he's grown his operations past Affordable Eye Store and into Grand River Tech, and has been servicing those businesses and schools and organizations for years now. And the thing that I liked about it, Trent told me, is, all the pricing we put like up front on our website. So if you go to grandrivertech.com and you want to look at like what those things entail and how that all works, you can get upfront and honest information and pricing. He'd love to help you out. And if you have questions about any of it, reach out, grandrivertech.com. You can give them a call as well, and they'd be more than happy to help you. But don't wait till it's too late. I think most scenarios that I hear from Trent are that people do wait, unfortunately, before it's too late, because you don't realize what that could cost you. It costs a lot to wait. Don't do that. Your business can't afford it, and you can't either. So stay connected and protected. GrandRiverTech.com, AffordableEyeStore.com. You got your personal needs. Willing to help in all those ways as well. Trent, always appreciate you. Thank you for walking through these stories and shining a little bit of light on them for us so that we understand what's really going on behind the scenes.
Thanks, Justin. Have a great day.
Hey, you too. God bless. Trent Kanibi, Affordable Eye Store, Lake Michigan Drive in Standale, Grand River Tech as well, grandrivertech.com. All of the different ways they can help, and always does. Trent has been a great part of this show for a long time now, and we're excited to continue with that relationship and the success as we move forward. Folks, another update from the Midwesterner, the Midwesterner.news from around the state and beyond.
Here are your headlines from the Midwesterner this Tuesday, July 21st. I'm Robin Poffman. It's a Midwesterner.news original story. Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson tells WDIV-TV she wants to overhaul the Michigan tax code. Here's Benson in her own words.
I think part of what we need to do is revamp how we're generating revenue in this state in a way that is more equitable, but also transformational. Too much of our tax code is piecemeal and written through loopholes and credits instead of a more strategic vision of how are we bringing in revenue, and then how do we ensure that revenue is going towards where we want it.
And a convicted killer illegal alien in Grand Rapids suing the Trump administration. He's demanding counseling, a public apology, $75.5 million, and citizenship. The migrant's unlawful status first exposed by the Midwesterner back in 2024. For these stories and more, visit the Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
Mandel Mark over on the locals this morning. We got lots of folks watching and enjoying the program online in the VIP. As always, Dina, thank you so much for being here. She says, I really like having more Tech Tuesday time. Yeah, we don't have to like rush through the topics. Some of these topics really need more of an in-depth dive. And I think being able to be a little more open, less interruption definitely helps that. Dad's at work. Good to see you as well. Let's see. Is Gritter in here today? I see Petrie, Dean, and a few others hanging out inside the VIP this morning. My chat won't go all the way back. I see Gary over on Rumble. Nancy, good to see you. TK as well. Folks hanging out on Rumble. Jeremiah, thank you for being here with us today. And on the book, Joanne, Kelly Lynn, thank you, Dean. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Bonnie. We appreciate you, Sherry, Jason, Bruce, and so many others. Some of you had to make the switch this morning earlier. We had a little bit of a glitch getting the Facebook started. We got folks watching on the tube. If you're a tuber today, say hey. And on X as well. I see John over on the tube this morning. Thank you guys for being here. Another quick reminder to hit share if you haven't done it yet. We'll get you in the running for something cool inside the Justin store. JustinBarkley.com, by the way, taking advantage of those really cool America 250 shirts and some other great things inside the store. Always appreciate that. All right. I wanted to share a couple of things that are happening. In fact, there's a few things on the national front, a few things with Michigan connections as well. We'll dive into those. We got a couple of election-related things that we want to dig in on. But the big news that came out, and it might have been early this morning, the U.S. Appeals Court for D.C. has denied Joe Biden's emergency request to block the release of his 5-hour interview with special counsel, her who did that in, was it 23? Going to be damning, they say. For those who said Biden was mentally fit for the office, a 4-minute snippet has already been released by Axios back in when was that? So 2025, showing Biden struggling to remember what years he was vice president and when his son Beau died. You remember this. We shared this with you. I'm not going to play all of it. I'll play some of it, but it is a big decision. Supreme Court is Biden's last hope. I don't know why they wouldn't release this. This is evidence. It is something that should be seen. Release the whole tape. Let people decide. Let people see it. Let people come to understand what was really happening behind the scenes, because it wasn't just, Dr. Jill and the rest of the folks in the Biden administration, but it was folks in the media, again, that wanted to say, hey, no, nothing to see here. Biden's fine. You remember that?
So during this time, we were living in Chambers Road, and there were documents related to the Penn Biden Center or the Biden or the cancer booster shot or your book. Where did you keep papers that related to those things that you were actively working on?
Well,
remember, in the garage next to the Corvette.
I don't know. This is what, 2017, 18, that area?
Yes, sir.
Remember, in this time frame, my son is either been deployed or is dying. And so it was, and by the way, there were still a lot of people at the time when I got out of the Senate that were encouraging me to run in this period, except the president. They're not a mean thing to say. I mean, he just thought that she had a better shot of winning the presidency than I did. And so I hadn't at this point, even though I'm at Penn, I hadn't walked away from the idea that I might run for office again.
This whole thing, so sad. He didn't remember, he didn't understand or remember any of the times especially with his son, Beau. And look, he'd been through a lot. Again, Biden was a guy who I kind of looked at. Yeah, I know. There were a lot of things behind the scenes he knew about, but I think there are a lot of things he didn't know. That auto pen, by the way, you got this new biography that's out now. The new biography that's out. It's probably totally and completely written by the auto pen. The auto penography. Yeah, they're out there slumming this thing now, trying to get a little bit more money in his pocket now that the jig is up.
Abdul El Sayed for.
By the way, this is she didn't even know how to say his name. Senator Elizabeth Warren out there, and her announcement of this.
I'm endorsing Abdul.
Hang on, here she is. I'm endorsing Abdul Al Sayed. She said, I think he says it Al Sayed. Anyway, it doesn't matter. What matters is she's a millionaire. He's a millionaire. They're both socialists, though. Yeah, make that one, man.
I'm endorsing Abdul El Sayed for Senate in Michigan. Abdul is the only candidate in this race not taking corporate money, and he's fighting to get money out of politics altogether. Yeah. Abdul
And she's reading a script.
studied to be a doctor, and he's fighting for every single American to have affordable, high-quality health care. Abdul has been a card-carrying union member, and he's fighting for working people. That's why he's endorsed by the United Auto Workers, and he's growing a movement of working people all across Michigan.
Pocahontas now out there again. By the way, this is the Red Green Alliance. Expect to see more of it. Expect to see more of it. Now, what you're getting ready to see is another horrific piece of video. Michigan. I think this is Grand Rapids. Another one of these takeovers that they did. Well, I don't know if these are teens, but this is in the streets. We've seen them on bridges, take over interstates and bridges. We've seen them recently. In fact, I just saw them take over in an area where they didn't allow a fire truck to go. Don't tell me we don't know who these people are. We've got cell phone data, probably have license plates. Let's use those flock cameras for good ones, right? Let's find out who these people are. Let's arrest them. Let's throw them in jail, and let's seize the cars and sell them off. Oh. Seize the cars, sell them off, and pay for that highway that's crumbling on 131 with it. But they got another part of that bridge that's falling apart. Have you seen this thing? They got another part of the bridge, Pure Michigan, where you have diarrhea lettuce, explosive diarrhea lettuce. You have the wildfire smoke from Canada. And then while you're not dealing with that, you got smoke from the tires these guys are doing down. You might look at it and say, oh, that's awesome. I kind of like that. Not in the middle of an intersection. I don't care what time of night this is. What a closed track. You know, if you want to do something like this, I'm not against people having fun, but when it comes to things like this, and this is at, the detriment of the society. Where is that? It's like, I don't want to say downtown.
Can we play a little bit of what Bill Maher said?
Uptown, maybe I'll call it. Let's see. Let me find the one that got me was the fire truck. Let me see if I can find the fire truck. Maybe I don't know if I shared it. I think it's the same place. Again, it's Grand Rapids, though. I think Grand Rapids Businessman. By the way, if you don't follow that account, great account to follow. Yeah, here it is. Grand Rapids Businessman over on X sharing that. Here you go. Here's a video. Teen takeover in Grand Rapids continue amidst weak responses from city leadership. Last night, a teen takeover on Division blocked emergency first responders from passing through the intersection. Comes 2 weeks after a teen takeover blocked traffic on a highway bridge. We shared that story with you not too long ago, too. Look at this. That's the problem. Look at how many people are out there. These people all just standing around with their phones out. Meanwhile, something's burning. Somebody needs help. Maybe somebody's dying. And they're standing in the middle of the intersection filming it all. These are by the way, this is the defund the police crowd. This is the kind of stuff they want. They want this. They want all out absolute chaos. They want anarchy. These are the folks who were things are gonna look. All right, let me do this. Let me see if I can find. Oh yeah, from the defund the police crowd. The people that told you don't pay no attention to the 2020 election, pay no attention to what President Trump said and did the other night with the speech, his address to the nation. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison announcing Democrats' plan in the 2026 midterms to have foreigners vote. including people not naturalized in the prior election. Here's what they want to do. They want to make them naturalized. They want to give them the opportunity to vote.
There's a whole lot of people who were not 18 years old in the last election. There's a whole lot of people who were not naturalized citizens in the last election. There's a whole lot of people who sat it out because of whatever reason in the last election. But you know what? We're going to get them all this election. And so let me tell you, I used to be the congressperson for the 5th Congressional District. And when I decided to leave that job and become your Attorney General, and thank you for that, by the way, there's a whole lot of people who were...
Just saying the quiet part out loud. By the way, this is the top cop in Minnesota. He's crooked. He's crooked as the day is long. He is so crooked. Keith Ellison. So, he's out there telling you essentially what their plans are. That's the defund the police crowd. Now, it's not all bad news. In fact, it's a wild day when you see this.
I think this is one of the strangest wars.
This is Van Jones. Van Jones on CNN making sense. It's wild because calling out the left
has been blowing up all day. Governors from both parties, senators from both parties, Democrats in the House thanking me for saying what everybody's been saying behind the scenes, which is that this stuff is going too far. I am a progressive Democrat. You want to talk about prison reform?
He wants to get there. He just doesn't want to say it out loud. He doesn't want to get there overnight.
I've done it as well as anybody, Republican Democrats in the South with Trump. I've done prison reform. I never said have no prisons. Where are you going to put the Klan? I've done police reform.
In other words, where are you going to put all the, all the conservatives? Now, I'm not saying conservatives are Klan. Don't get me wrong there. What he's saying is, where are you going to put the people that we really want to lock up? The people that disagree with us, the ones that won't wear the mask and get the shots, etc.
I said no police. Where are you going to put the pedophiles? Who's going to grab the pedophiles? This stuff is going too far. And part of the thing that has to happen,
his plan is just send them to D.C.
We saw what happened in the Republican Party when things started going in a nutty direction and nobody stood up. I am happy that the young people are fighting for affordability, Medicare for all the good things. I've been waiting my whole life to see a youth movement do what it's doing. But it's being hijacked by people who are putting in nutty ideas supporting terrorists, nutty ideas saying that we don't need cops in prison. We can't deport anybody even if they rape somebody. Who said this? Chevalier. Where did Chevalier?
Chevalier is going to be is yes. The Democratic nominee. DSA nominee for Congress now from the Bronx.
Yeah.
So, too little, too late. Keith says, speaking a little too late for this, a lot too late.
I have seen him on
this phone.
Anyway, it's good news to see it, but it is. It's not.
You are not watching.
Probably not. It is a little too late for all of that. I gotta show you this. By the way, quick, if you have not done so, click share, get the word out. Last chance to get in the running for something cool today from inside the Justin store, justinbarkley.com/store. The World Cup just wrapped up and Spain won. I think soccer is a communist plot myself, so I don't pay much attention. a lot of running around and nothing actually getting done. And this is Spain. And in fact, I think the guy that scored the goal-winning, I think it's Ferran Torres, scored the the game-winning goal for Spain. And he's riding through the streets in a parade with a hat on that says, "Make Spain Great Again." Like Spain took a little something home with them as we as we had some people brought buckets of ranch dressing. Spain brought a "Make Spain Great Again" hat. It's fantastic. Back with another fresh batch of show for you tomorrow. If you haven't already done it, make sure we stay connected. you'll hear the full scoop of the story why we're not on the radio anymore and how you can stay in touch, because you never know. These social media companies, we saw it earlier this morning, you just never know. Let's stay connected. If you haven't done it yet, go to justinbarclay.com. Click on the link there, Good News in the Stack, and make sure you stay up to date, okay? Let's do it. In the meantime, let's see, who's our winner today? Over on Rumble, Jeremiah. Jeremiah, thank you so much for clicking share today and getting the word out, truth, logic, and common sense for folks to be able to hear what it is that we're doing and getting these stories out. It's never been more important. We thank you in your fight, folks. For you, for your kids and your grandkids, we're never giving up. We're not going to back down. And we thank you for being here with us. Make it a great one in the meantime. God bless, folks.